Buying near water, flood zones can ruin your plans. When you are buying property, whether the property is flood affected, in a flood zone, or in a flood planning area, is something you should really consider. Every property may have some indication of whether any flood related issues affect it. One way that we deal with it in New South Wales is through the local governments or councils. And in a contract for sale, there is a 10.7 certificate that indicates whether the property is in a flood planning area or sometimes whether it's flood affected. Each LGA can also have flood information that is available to buyers. You can also contact the council and speak to a duty planner to get an indication whether there is anything that may affect the property you're interested in. It is also important to speak to your solicitor or your conveyancer and see if they've got any diligence that they've got that might affect the property you're interested in. What can also happen is it can affect your insurance, the premiums you pay, and in strata, you've got to look at whether there is flood cover. When you're buying, some lenders may not even lend if the property is flood affected or flood prone. And if you're looking at any developments, knockdown rebuilds, duplex, granny flats, or anything in the future, flood related development controls can affect what you can build, how you can build it, or the costs or infrastructure you need to put in place. There are a lot of things that could come in and, like a wrecking ball, wreck your plans. You need to get the right advice. You need to understand what your plans are, how it affects you, and what is happening with the property you're buying. Certain government schemes can also be affected by flood issues, and get some advice from your broker, your lender, and whether the bank or the schemes you're applying for might get affected by any flood issues. These things can cost you money. It is a real risk for a property buyer, and you need to get the right advice and consider this when you're buying. Have you had any flood issues with your properties? Any inquiries made by your solicitor or conveyancer or with your due diligence? Drop me a comment with what you've experienced. And if you've liked this content, please like, follow, and subscribe on the channel you're watching on. Thank you. I appreciate you.